Welcome back, deep divers. Ready for another fascinating deep dive? Today we're tackling Taheri's uncertainty principle. And let me tell you, it really gets you thinking about, about how we see the world.
Uncertainty principle. Sounds intriguing already.
Oh, it is. So we're working with this document, an excerpt really, that lays out the whole principle. And get this, they start with this example of a lit lamp.
A lit lamp. Okay, seems pretty straightforward, right? You see it, so it exists.
Exactly. But Taheri, he argues that in a way, it also doesn't exist.
Hold on. How can a lit lamp not exist? I'm hooked already.
Well, here's the thing. Most lamps, they run on AC power, right? Alternating current. That means the electricity is like constantly switching on and off.
On and off.
Yeah, like 50 times every second.
Oh.
So the lamp, it's actually flickering like 100 times a second.
But we don't see that, do we?
Nope. Our eyes, they can only process so many frames per second. Imagine like an eagle, right? An eagle's vision is way faster than ours.
Ah, so they'd see it differently.
To an eagle, that lamp would be constantly flashing.
On and on.
On and off. So whether the lamp is on at any moment, well, it kind of depends on who's looking.
So you're saying certainty is what? Relative? Relative to the observer's perception?
You got it. That's a big part of Taheri's uncertainty principle. It basically says that no event, no phenomenon can be predicted with total certainty, and you can never say for sure if something is truly there or not.
Reminds me of Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, the quantum mechanics one.
Exactly. You're right on. But see, Heisenberg is all about the quantum level, tiny particles and all that.
Right.
But Taheri, he's talking about uncertainty on the level of, well, the world as we see it, our everyday reality.
Yes, Heisenberg's uncertainty principle states that we can't measure both the position and momentum of a particle with absolute precision, meaning that at the most fundamental level, nature seems to operate on probability rather than certainty.
And this introduced something pretty controversial into physics. The idea that at the deepest level of reality, things don't happen with strict order, but instead follow statistical probabilities.
Right, which didn't sit well with Einstein. He famously said, God does not play dice, because he believed there had to be a deeper underlying order guiding everything, something beyond mere chance. And this is where things get really interesting, because Mohammad Ali Taheri argues that both Heisenberg and Einstein were right, but in different ways.
Exactly. Taheri bridges this apparent contradiction by expanding the concept of uncertainty beyond quantum mechanics to include the larger world and our everyday experiences. Which brings us to Taheri's uncertainty principle. It asserts that uncertainty is not just limited to subatomic particles. It also applies to events and phenomena at the macrocosmic level.
And this is where Taheri aligns with both Heisenberg and Einstein. He agrees with Heisenberg that uncertainty is fundamental, but also agrees with Einstein that it's not random. There's an underlying intelligence directing it.
Exactly. Taheri explains that what we call probability isn't actually chance. It's the result of specific laws and measures applied by an intelligent system that governs the entire cosmos. And that intelligent order is what Taheri calls the Cosmic Consciousness Network, CCN, the hidden, imperceptible software system running the hardware of the universe.
So, what we perceive as random events, probabilities, or uncertainties are actually just our limited perspective on a highly structured, intelligent design.
That's right.
Let's back to your examples. So even something simple like a lamp has this layer of uncertainty. What other examples, what else does this principle apply to? So we've got this flickering lamp, right? And then even super carefully designed buildings, they always end up a little different from the blueprints. And, earlier you mentioned Taheri's uncertainty principle also had something to say about duplicates.
Oh, yeah. He actually says that true duplicates are total impossible.
Exactly. And this is where it gets even more interesting, I think.
Really? I mean, I get that there might be tiny differences, but, impossible. That's a pretty strong claim.
It might seem that way, yeah. But think about it. With all our fancy technology, when we try to make, identical objects, we can never make them perfectly the same.
I guess that's true.
Yeah. Even identical twins, despite sharing the same DNA blueprint, are not exact copies of each other. And no two snowflakes are ever identical. To the naked eye, they may seem alike, but under a microscope, each has a distinct geometric signature, a design unlike any other.
But are those differences really, important? If two things look the same, does it matter if there are tiny microscopic differences?
Well, that's a good point. But Taheri takes this idea even further. He's not just talking about like mass-produced stuff. He's saying this applies to the whole universe.
Hmm.
Even two hydrogen atoms, the simplest atoms there are, they're not truly identical.
Whoa, okay. Now that's interesting. Two hydrogen atoms, they're the same element, right? How could they be different?
Mohammad Ali Taheri has an astonishing hypothesis that we might explore further in the future. He claims that the microcosm is equal to the macrocosm, meaning the information contained within a single particle mirrors the information of the entire universe. The number of orbital movements, the behavior of particles and antiparticles, and countless other factors make each particle truly unique. He has named this the principle of non-repetition and uniqueness.
Big claim. So, even though all hydrogen atoms share similarities and have the same characteristics, each one represents a unique and distinct universe.
It's more like he's trying to describe like the uniqueness of every single thing, even at the most basic level.
Okay, so even atoms have their own individual, fingerprint.
Exactly. And this actually connects back to that virtual reality idea we were talking about before.
Oh, right.
If we're only seeing the surface level of reality and it's all based on some deeper truth we don't fully get, then it makes sense that true duplication would be impossible. If, as Taheri proposes, all divine creations follow the law of unrepeatability, then every single entity, every atom, every microscopic particle, every vast structure, every event, every moment in time is a masterpiece and is truly a one-of-a-kind. Nothing in existence can ever be perfectly replicated or replaced.
That's a mind-blowing realization. It means there is no such thing as a true copy, no exact repetition of anything in the universe.
That's precisely the point, according to Taheri. No event, no phenomenon, no experience, nothing in this universe can ever be duplicated or relived in the exact same way.
If we accept Taheri's theory of uncertainty, we can conclude that this universe, whether it has a designer or creator, has managed to produce infinitely diverse effects, from the subatomic level to the grand structures of the cosmos,
Yay, this very fact evokes a sense of awe and wonder.
making each thing unique.
Right. Like each thing is a custom creation.
Wow. It makes you think about, the diversity we see in nature.
Exactly. It's even more amazing when you think that every single thing is fundamentally unique.
Definitely makes you appreciate the little differences, right? Instead of just trying to put everything into neat categories.
Absolutely. We like to categorize and label things, to make sense of the world, but maybe we're missing out on all the incredible individuality that's out there.
It makes you wonder, are we unknowingly taking so much for granted? Even ourselves? The utter uniqueness of each of us as a one-of-a-kind creation, and of everything and everyone we encounter. If we viewed life through that lens, perhaps we'd see everything with a sense of awe and reverence. We'd value everything more deeply and treat it differently, and would begin to appreciate the uniqueness of all that might otherwise seem ordinary to us, realizing that nothing is ever truly ordinary.
Also makes you question if our need for certainty, our need to define everything is actually kind of blocking us from seeing reality for what it truly is.
That's a deep question.
Maybe true understanding doesn't come from finding definite answers, but from, accepting the mystery, the uncertainty.
So if we accept Taheri's idea that certainty is relative and true copies are impossible,
I think that's a big part of what Taheri is getting at. It's not about giving up on learning, but about changing how we think about knowing things. It's about recognizing that our perception has limits and that reality is full of possibilities.
how does this principle actually affect our daily lives?
That's a great question. And I think that's something each listener will have to figure out for themselves. But in my opinion, if we accept Taheri's principle of uncertainty, which seems quite logical, it might help us approach different challenges in life with greater flexibility. In fact, if we view everything in life as fixed or absolute, and this principle isn't deeply ingrained within us, we might face severe conflicts when things don't go as we expect. However, when this principle is internalized, the pressures of life's challenges decrease, and we become more accepting of whatever comes our way.
It sounds like this principle could be really transformative, both for individuals and for society as a whole. Looks like we've reached the bottom of this dive. I hope we've all come away with a new appreciation for certainty and for uncertainty, and also for the absolute uniqueness of everything in this universe.
And maybe sparked a bit of curiosity about the deeper layers of reality, what's really going on beneath the surface.
For sure. So, as you go about your day, reflect on Taheri's uncertainty principle and the unrepeatable uniqueness of everything you encounter. Pay attention to the little details and subtle variations, those you may notice and those you may not, but which make each person, each moment, and each experience truly one of a kind. And embrace the mystery that's always there.
And keep exploring, keep questioning.
That's what the deep dive is all about. Until next time, keep diving deep into the amazing world of knowledge and ideas.